Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face too black. That remind me of two things. When I'm in chiropractor, at the chiropractor, and he says inhale and then blow it out right before he busts me in the neck. And then that also remind you of martial arts when I would go, he'll say inhale, and then you take the blow to your stomach, be like, you have to say, like that. When you release that air, it helps you absorb that little shock. That's what that hoping reminds me of. Trying to hold my breath for just as good. Anyways, I am chilling at the park. Your girl got off early today. Yes. Not too early, but I can see the sun setting at the park. So I want to hurry and finish this video so I can so that I can go walking before the sun sets. Anyway, so that video from the response to Rajiva, I'm sorry, I gotta get her name. We're going to say Rajiva the ruler, but I'll put her real name if I incorrectly said it in the description box below. And she ended up doing 10 years in Florida DOC behind her boyfriend, girl. So people were calling her crazy, stupid, naive, and all this other stuff. She knew what was going on and blah, 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 blah. And if it were not for the grace of God, it could have been any of us. But we love to pass judgment on others. But we hate to be judged ourselves. Isn't that really narcissistic? But anyways, so I have my notes, girl. I'm going to continue this story from the worst relationship I ever in my life been in. And this man took me from 100 to 0 real quick. Okay, so let's get right into it. And this one, I'm going to tell this so that this is all the details before I tell the story of him stealing my car, girl. My car. Yes, girl, I done had a string of bad luck boyfriends. Y'all remember the one where my boyfriend actually tried to break in my house? Like, girl, they broke into my house and now a whole different boyfriend up here stealing my car. But if you didn't see the first part, go ahead and check that out. That'll be in the description box. Okay, so to start out, I left one goofball for another, for him. So I was telling you about the Walmart, the remodeling crew. I had dated slightly another guy from that remodeling crew before this guy. Low down, dirty shame. Shame. We calling him Shame because I was shameful. But before I got with Shame, I was with another goofball from the remodeling crew. Okay. There was just one single positive thing that I can think that came out of that horrible relationship with Shame. One positive was he encouraged me to go to hair school. At that time, I was doing everybody's hair. Everyone. It started when I was in high school. I was so great at hair. And this is really the reason for my carpal tunnel, because I used to be really great at braiding and fast at braiding. But the braiding ended up leading to carpal tunnel, which I regret it now, but I didn't know. You live and you learn the hard goddamn way. Okay, so he was like, you're really good at hair. I was doing everyone hair around the store, doing my hair every other day. Y'all see, I don't do that no more. But he was like, why don't you go to the hair school? The little city that we were in had a hair school in that city. So I enrolled. I was so scared, but because I be scared to go into stuff. All the times I fail, I'm scared to try something new because I always fail. Oh, I hate that about me. But I always try. That's the good part. I don't care how many times I've reached failure. I've always gotten back up and tried again. Okay, so now we get into the stuff. He, at the beginning, Shame made me think he had his own house. And that was until the lights got cut off. Okay, so he he was 35. Shane was 35 and I was 22. Right. So he's a bit older than me. He made it seem like he was well established. And me being 22 and naive, I'm thinking about 35. Because, girl, my goal for everything, I thought by 30, everybody going to be straight. Who ain't going to be straight by 30? Because you think you're going to get everything in order, and by 30, you're just going to be rocking it, not knowing that time goes fast and life is hard. So you take 2 steps forward, you might take 10 to 12 steps backwards, and you don't realize that. So I'm thinking he's 35, he's established. It was basically, I think, a relative of his passed or something, and they had the house, but it ended up that it wasn't even his house. And I think I don't know what happened with the house. Were they losing it or something? But something was happening with the house. It wasn't the great, big, nice, pretty house that I thought it was, and he led me to believe that was his. And then when they cut the water off in the house, girl, he was still up in there in the house. They had to cut the water and the lights off. He was still up in there, taking cold ace showers, like ice popsicle cold showers. And it was like, at first he made me think that, hey, he had this, he had that, he was established, he had a job. And later I find out that all of that was y'all remember the Alvin and the Chipmunks, where they made that house? They made this grand big old mansion, but it was a blow up. At the end, you find out that it was a blow up mansion. It wasn't even real, and people thought they were rich and this and this and that. That's how that situation played out. Once that I found out it was blown up and it popped, and I found out that for real, that he really ain't had no place like that. Okay, so one of the earlier bad and warning signs, a warning sign of a bad relationship, he was very controlling. He wanted to, basically, I guess, I don't know if it was the age difference, but he wanted me to do what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to dress how he wanted me to dress. He wanted me to, I don't know. And then basically he wanted me to take care of him. Like, for real, like, we get further into it later, but he wanted, when he was hungry, he would look at me like I'm supposed to feed him. Like, girl, goodbye, you're a grown man. Like, I'm supposed to feed you? Like crazy, but we'll get more into that later. Okay, so the next one, I'm pulling out my little sheets. I took my notes the other day. Y'all seen it on my shorts. And I put them in order because it was so much. Okay, so he actually was one of the first men to call me out my name. I've never been in a relationship where the man is calling me all types of B's and stuff like that. Like, I'm not used to that. I don't even joke with my friends like that. You know how some females be like, B, please, and this. I don't do that. Like, that is not even a part of my vocabulary like that. So for him to be calling me B's and stuff like that, I'm not at all used to that. At all. Okay, so he conned me out of money. Y'all know I told you them crazy stories about him taking my money when we got paid, and then he'll be like, he got paid too, girl, but then he'll be like, oh, I just need this, and then talking about I got beat up and they left me in the woods and stole all my money, but I need this amount of money from you, and then I can win all the money back, and crazy stuff. Like, he was constantly coming up with something, and I'm learning myself. I knew myself before, but this year I'm really learning myself. I am a people pleaser, and I also have like poor boundaries, for real. And I'm always trying to help somebody. I'm always trying to get people up on their feet, but the problem is you never fully get someone on their feet if they don't want to get on their feet. So it becomes a big using session, you know, if they aren't really trying to get on their feet. They're just using you. And like a lot of my videos I watch, they use, and Joel said that, they use you to keep them fixed. You know, I can't keep nobody fixed because I'm broke, girl. Okay, so the next thing, I remember the time because of this, he was tripping, thinking I was supposed to take him out to eat. Like when we were working overnight, it started out where it's like the shifts, the tables just turn. A man is whining and dining you, and then all of a sudden you realize, and you don't even know when it happens, you're paying for everything for him. Like, he thought when we got off of work, I was supposed to buy him lunch and me. Like, why am I paying for breakfast every freaking goddamn day? And then, okay, if we do go out once or twice a week, but he thought every single day when he was ready to eat, he go to looking at me. Like, what you looking at me for? I got to feed myself, and I have to feed my child. And I still had to feed my mans that was in prison. Because y'all already know this was... I don't know. Check out the first video to find that part out. Okay. So I remember the time I gave him a bowl of cereal. And I had the bowl of cereal in my car, girl. Like, why did I have a bowl? And I had some cereal. And I gave him a bowl of cereal because he said he was hungry. And he was looking at me to feed him. Like, I got tired of it. I was like, I don't have money. I'm trying to get a lawyer for my husband. I'm trying to get up on my feet. I'm trying to do all of this. And you study looking at me for money. Now, I can be boo-boo the goddamn fool for you for so long. But then eventually I come back to my senses, sir. And I gave him a bowl of cereal. He would bet, please. I'm a grown A man. You give me some cereal. Well, a grown A man ain't looking to a 22-year-old to feed him. Okay. So after he stopped conning me out of my money that stopped working, he started stealing my money. And y'all already know how I was saying in the other video how I had this little area in my car that I kept extra money. The time he left me in the freaking hood, I had fell asleep in the car because I was so tired from the night shift. He said, stop him by somewhere real quick. I wake up hours later. He done stole my paycheck. You know, we used to cash our check and have the money on us out my bosom. He done went all in my bosom, and I had to be sleepy for him to get my money out my bosom. So I wake up and all my money gone. I'm padding. I'm like, he gone. And then I look at the clock. It's hours later. I don't know what apartment he went in. Just left me in the hood sleep and stole all my money. Like, for real. And if you didn't watch that first video yet, he was on substances. He was a junkie. That's why I don't know. Okay, he caused me to lose my financial aid. And I say that in my last video as well, because I, at the same time, had an identity theft. Girl, I done had so many bad things happen to me. I done been through so much. And I always have to figure it out, it seems like, on my own. So the person stole my identity, and they were enrolled in school in Georgia just long enough to get the financial aid money. Well, while I was in college here in Orlando, Florida, I was told to return my money back, but yet I had already lent it to him, and I couldn't return the money back. And he sure as heck was never going to pay me back. So I was put out of college. That was a big reason. And I think that's why he made it his duty to get me in hair school, because he already had got me put out of college. Like, girl. So this is word to the unwise. If you see your life steady slipping down, and you can always connect it back to being that person, that's not a relationship for you. That's just keep it moving. You save yourself some trouble. Okay, was last straw in me leaving college. So by him doing that, that's basically what put me out of college, because I tried to, you know, I was in college when I had our daughter money. Then her father was taken from us. I tried to return to college, but at that point I was a single mother rather than raising her with Marcello. So a single mother is very difficult to be working full time overnight, going to college during the day, and during the evening times, and keeping your child all day long, because you no longer can afford daycare. Like, that was really hard. So I did, despite that, go back to college, but that's what got me put out, like, for good, until I returned back age 34, 15 years something later to college. And that lady was like, the college admissions was like, oh, you look a little different, girl. Of course, we ain't got to even go through that. I was a cute little girl with the little baby face, and now I'm a whole full-grown woman. So he had me out there in the streets looking crazy. He sure did. Like, you be embarrassed when you find, you catch on that, hey, this man using me, but you look real stupid, but you try not to admit that you look stupid, but you know you look dumb. Okay, I felt like the town clown. I felt like the clown, tongue twister. I felt like the town clown, because it was such a small town that he was in that I met him at, and everyone I felt like was just watching me, like just looking at me, like basically watching him make a freaking fool of me. Okay, this part here, God told on me. For real, God told Marcello that I was with this guy. Marcello called me collect back then. That was when we had the little AT&T set up. This is before GTL, Securus, all of that. If you're a prison wife watching this, girl, I've been a prison wife since, which I want to do a video about that, because a lot of the stuff, the way things are now, it was completely different. I became a prison wife in a whole different era, and still a prison wife. That is so annoying. But God told Marcello on me. Marcello called me. He's like, Keita, I had this dream. I'm like, okay, what's the dream, Marcello? I had a dream you was driving this guy around in the car, and I was in the back seat. And I'm like, what guy? What you talking about, Marcello? What you talking about? Even though he had already told me to move on with my life. So I was dating, but I never was going to put it in Marcello's face that I'm dating. I mean, and he already told me to live my life or whatever. And he knew that I had went out on a date with him, but I don't know. So God told him, girl, he saw it in a dream. Okay. Girl, he stole my car. You can't let nobody own substances borrow your car. Borrow for a few hours. I was all around the town looking for my car. But this is going to be a whole nother video. This is what I'm building up to. So after telling you all the things that I can still remember that happened in this horrible relationship, I'm finally going to tell that story. That was so crazy, humiliating. I really looked like pie on my face. Stupid. Okay. He had me looking all over town for my car, girl. Have you ever tried to find your own car? Like, girl, and I'm surprised he didn't help me find it, because that's usually how it happened. They be done stole something and they try to help you find it. But no, he had me all around this town. I didn't really know this town like that. When I worked at the Walmart on the outskirts of the town, so I didn't know the inner workings of the town. And the town is kind of different. Like, girl, they say once you cross them railroad tracks, it's a whole different story back there. And I don't know all those back, hood areas like that, But I was back there looking for my car. Asking, did you just see shame? Have you seen shame anywhere? Shame all over my face, girl. Okay. One time, he let his mask down. So shortly after he stole my car, that's when the mask came off. And he kind of just told me, you know what, kid, I have a problem. And he told me he had a drug addiction. And he was like, I'm no good for you. You have to leave me. But of course, me being broken, a lot of times a broken person know they can't fix themselves. So they try to fix everyone else around them. And that's how I was, I'm still broken in ways, but I'm trying. over the years, I am slowly progressing to being a more whole and healthy individual. Okay. The story when we was at Chicken Coop, this needs to be a whole different breakout story. See, the car gonna be a story. When he stole my car, girl, had me all around town looking for my car. Okay, but when I seen him at the Chicken Coop, I used to love the Chicken Coop. It had the best chicken. And oh my gosh, we used to go there after school and stuff like that. And after my car got stolen, they knew he had stole my money, my paycheck, this, and that. So the family, you try to hide some things from them because you know if your family know all the silly stuff that you had put up with, they really gonna look at you like really crazy. So you don't tell everything, but you tell some of the stuff just because you can't hold it all in. So after all of that, stole my car, this and that, a family member catches me at the Chicken Coop with him. Because remember, girl, I had to feed him every day. I have a full-grown man I got to feed. So I tried to duck down and hide. Oh, sorry, DMX. I'm listening to a video about DMX, one of my favorites. But I'm like trying to duck down and hide. We in the drive-thru, and I'm like, can they recognize me? Wow. Okay, so I'm sorry. He had over 10 to 11 children with several different baby mamas. Girl, and I'm not even playing. So to this day, who knows how many he got. Okay, that was back then. That was over 20 years ago he had that many kids. Several different baby mamas. I knew 3 of his baby mamas. Then I found out about the first one. So we're going to say how I found out about all his baby mamas. Like, these can be, they whole separate stories, girl. How you meet 3 of a man's baby mamas? Okay. I found the first one when we walked into the Walmart, because we both worked at the super center. And he was holding my daughter. He walked in the store holding my daughter money. And everybody, like, that super center, it was so much gossip. It was, like I told you, everybody had relations with everybody back then. I wasn't too much playing with that. So it wasn't, every now and then I had me a little boo thing, a boo thing in the store. I remember that Akon song. It was one boo thing back then. Because I was trying to take my mind off of Marcello. Like, girl, my man's gone until Jesus come back. So what I supposed to do? Like, y'all telling me that he ain't the one for me if he gone, girl. So I mean, I got to move on with my life. I was young. But it was this one guy. That Akon song had came out that you don't want, they don't want to see us together. I would say, you don't want nobody to see us together, but it don't matter, no. That's how I started rapping, by changing them lyrics. It say, they don't want to see us together, but I would say, you don't want nobody to see us together. You don't want nobody to see us together. You don't want nobody. Okay, so guess what? When we walked in that Walmart's, right, one of the baby mamas found out, and it got back to her because everybody's seeing, she's with shame. And they got right on back to baby mama number 1. Now I don't know what order of baby mama she fall into, but she's the first one that I met, right? And she called me a home wrecker. She was like, you home wrecker. Huh? Home wrecker? No, I would never want to wreck anybody's home. I literally didn't even, he told me he was single. Like, girl, naive. Can we write naive across my forehead? Dumb with the B on the end. Dumb. So she's like, you home wrecker. You knew that we was together. Like, No, I didn't. Like, I was always by myself. I'm a loner. How I supposed to know? Don't nobody tell me no tea because I don't gossip, girl. So I don't know that y'all are together. Anyways, I'm going to have to stop in a few minutes. I got 6 more minutes, right? And then I might can get a lap in before it gets dark. Okay, so that reminds me of a song. I made a whole song about this girl because she was like, "Oh, I only got 2 words for you. I got 2 words for you. Yeah, I got 2 words for her." That's what she would tell everybody, right? That was what she would tell everybody. But when she walked past me, girl, I ain't said nothing for 10. I made a song called Yapping. And literally in the video, I would do this. You know how you make that little, it was hunger yapping, but she ain't saying none cause she ain't real. Her gums clapping, but she ain't said nothing real yet. Not a doggone thing. Hunger yapping, but she ain't saying none. She talking, her gums clapping, but she ain't said nothing real. If you talk that you need to back it up. If you talk that gon' back it up. If you talk that you need to back it up. If you talk that gon' back it up. Yes, sir. Homegirl is all barking, no bite. She always talk that stuff, but she know that she can't bite it. She say she only got 2 words she wanna say to me. But when I walk past her, she don't say a word, nothing. I guess she only talk that stuff when her girls around. But when she by herself, don't squat, come out her mouth. She always hating on me, take that as a compliment. Cause the more she hate, it shows that she's envious. Your girl here's a dime, and she's just penniless. She hating cause I'm on my grind, and she hate, and I'm sorry, man, I hate when I mess up in the verse in the end. And she lacks ambition. Your girl here can't settle for what they hand to me. Anything worth having, you know I'm taking it, baby. Hunger yapping, but she ain't saying none cause she ain't real. Her guns clapping, but she ain't saying nothing real. Not a doggone thing. Hunger yapping, but she ain't saying none. She talking her guns clapping, but she ain't said nothing real yet. Girl, the whole second verse was about him. Homeboy yapping said he buy me this, he buy me that. He told me he was loaded, make it rain on your girl Cadillac. But that was a lie, and I found out the hard way. Cause every time we went out, why your girl here had to pay? He would always say, "Hey, baby girl, let me hold some." But when he get paid, he would act like he ain't owe me nothing. Mama told me, girl, that whole verse was about him. Mama told me never fend for a man, let him fend for himself. Daddy told me no loving with no finances. I wish I listened, cause every man that glisten ain't gold. And love... Hold on. Every man that glisten ain't gold. And not to mention loving wasn't all that, truth be told. Yes, your girl Cadillac. Girl, I had to write songs. I had to let the song cry, girl. Like, for real. Anyways, I'm going to lap it up. I'm out of time. But I still got a stack of more stuff. A stack of more issues, girl. He did too much. He did way too much to you, girl, Cadillac. I'm so glad that I done grew up. And I'm past that young and dumb stage, girl. Yes. Anyways, hiss your girl Cadillac.